Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome to our coffee times. Today I'm here to talk to you about a sequel that I was initially excited about. After watching the trailer, I started to be a little bit scared of going into the cinema to watch it, but I finally did go and watch it, so I'm here to let you know my thoughts on the movie.
It's coffee time.
We are, of course, talking about Escape Room Tournament of Champions. So the very first escape room movie that I ever watched was not the well-known 2019 movie. It was a movie that I just found on Netflix and I decided to give it a try. I'm gonna put the poster and the year for you guys on the screen, and I watched that one first, and that one was more of a realistic approach to how a real escape room scenario would look like, and I really enjoyed it because it was a little bit more on the horror side. Then I went to watch the 2019 Escape Room, and to be fair, it is a PG-13 movie, so there were not too many things like gore and stuff that they could show, but I thought it was a really nice, interesting, really visually really interesting take on escape rooms, kind of more like high-tech, and I really had a really good time, so I was excited for the sequel. When it comes to the second movie, I was excited, like I said, but once I watched the trailer, I started to be scared for the movie because this trailer, first of all, showed too much, and second of all, I didn't know if this idea of Tournament of Champions was going to work the way that perhaps, you know, the director imagined it in the first place. So we're here today to discuss the movie spoiler free for you guys and to let you know my final thoughts on the movie and my rating. Escape Room Tournament of Champions, released in some markets as Escape Room No Way Out, is a 2021 American psychological horror film directed by Adam Robitel, who also directed the first installment. It is a direct sequel to the 2019's Escape Room, and it stars Taylor Russell, Logan Miller, reprising the roles from the first film alongside new cast members. So if you have not watched the first Escape Room, what I'm gonna say now, it's probably going to spoil it for you, but honestly, you are going to be spoiled anyways if you go and watch this movie. So at the end of Escape Room 2019, we had two survivors from the game. We had Zoe and Ben that managed to escape. What they discovered was, you know, a game that a corporation called Minos had created, and they had put them in there. So after they escaped, they decided that they wanted to, you know more about Minos, about the company, to take them down so that nobody else would have to go through the hell that they were put through. So Minos Corporation could potentially have its headquarters in New York. That is what Zoe has kind of discovered with her own investigations, and she's going to convince Ben to go with her. Ben kind of feels like he has to go and help her, since at the end of the day, it was Zoe who rescued his ass. When our couple gets to New York, they start their investigations and they end up in a subway train. Now they're going to realize that the other passengers in the train have something in common with them. The 6 passengers of this specific subway train are all survivors from previous escape room games by Minos Corporation. Our poor 6 characters are going to realize really quickly that they have landed in another trap by Minos Corporation, and they've been thrown into a new game. After finishing Escape Room 2019, I did not expect the sequel to be like this. I had something else in mind according to the last scenes of Escape Room 2019, but I'm not mad with the concept per se. When it comes to the characters, we do follow Zoe and Ben that we already know as, you know, the ones that survived. And we also get introduced to the other members of the 4 that had previously played and survived escape room games by Minos Corporation. So these are all players that have outsmarted Minos and were able to solve all of the puzzles. Zoe is a character that she is, you know, kind of like the final girl, I guess you could call her in these movies. And she is this really like tough female lead character that all she wants is actually revenge. She is kind of fueled by anger, and you're going to be able to see that through the movie, and that is basically her character arc. And Ben is like your best friend, the good one at heart that always ends up in messes. Like, the characters are very kind of put in a box and you already know who is who. My only concern with these characters was that I didn't really get to know them. I feel like in this movie you can really only root for either Zoe or Ben, because the other characters you don't really have time to get to know them. Personally, the only character that I was caring the most for, the one that I was rooting for, was Ben, because I really like him as a character. I don't know, I've always had, you know, a place in my heart for him since the first movie. And I feel like it's a pity we are losing so much in this movie because we don't really get explained all the background from the other players, how they were able to survive their own escape rooms, what kind of rooms they had to play. Like, we are left in the dark, and all of those things that could be really nice, we didn't get to see any of it. What I would have loved from the franchise, I guess, is to see every movie a different game from these players, and then the last movie of the franchise, number 5 or whatever, could have been the Tournament of Champions. That way we would have seen Zoe and Ben in the first movie. In the second one we could have seen another one of the winners, and so on and so forth, and then in the end we get like a Tournament of Champions. That way we would know the complete backstories of all the characters. We would be invested with all of them because they are all survivors from movies that we've already previously watched, and we'll be rooting for them in this Tournament of Champions. I feel like all of that power that the movie could have had when it comes to the characters is gone because we don't really know these people. So at the end of the day, I only cared really about Ben and probably Zoe, you know, I already knew her, but the rest, it was just such a pity that I didn't really get to know them. However, since the players are all survivors, I did like that they were all really motivated, that they were all really invested, that they were really focused on the game, and they really wanted to beat this corporation again because they were already put through hell once. However, the problem is also that they all get really cocky, and instead of kind of playing the game together, they are kind of playing against each other at times, which was a little bit annoying, I'm not gonna lie. Something that, you know, I just wish would be different, but I completely understand, is the rating of the movie. It is a PG-13 movie, so I feel like a lot of moments when we are seeing characters dying or going through some sort of torture or something like that, I just feel like we're not really seeing enough, and it's such a pity because there were a couple of traps and challenges from the first movie and from the second movie that I just wish I could have seen a little bit more gore, like I could have seen blood. So it's a pity because especially in part 2, in this new escape room movie, there are some scenes that could potentially have been so amazing when it comes to the visuals and the deaths, and you don't see them at all on camera, and it was just kind of a letdown for me personally as a horror fan that I didn't get enough blood and guts. But I know that this is a PG-13 movie, so you kind of expect that to happen. I feel like the storyline, the script, the plot, I think they were using so much the formula from the first movie that they forgot to kind of bring us something fresh, something new. It just felt like a repeat in a way of the first movie, which was a little bit disappointing for me because I was hoping to find something new, like a really nice twist or something. We do get a couple of twists toward the end, but they didn't land for me, and we will get to that later. However, I do want to praise the crew for the design, the visuals, you know, the design of the rooms, the way that they are kind of presented, the clues, doing all of these puzzles and challenges. It is not easy, and I do feel like when it comes to the visuals and the production and the set design, it is a stunning movie if you just take those things into consideration. And I know that it takes a lot of work to make this room so imaginative, especially after you already have delivered a movie that was successful. And me as a viewer, what I enjoyed the most about this movie was the rooms, the challenges. That's what I really loved. It's just a pity that I didn't have the characters and the script and a storyline that added to that, because I feel this movie, what I really enjoyed was just the rooms and the challenges, and the rest kind of faded into the background. So the rooms do help a lot with the atmosphere and building this world of, you know, Minos Corporation and their rooms and their games that are kind of more high-tech. The room concepts and the traps and all of these things, they do create tension, especially when time is running out and, you know, they have to move to the next room and they have to do it quickly. So there is a lot of like tension and thrilling moments when it comes to that. But this is a movie where I think you just have to shut off your brain a little bit and just try to have fun and relax and not expect too much from it. Like I said, you know, the visuals, the production design, the sets, everything is strong in that sense, and it is fun to see these puzzles. I think as a viewer, that's the most exciting thing, to see the characters solving the puzzles. Some of the ideas for the rooms were really inventive and some of them really worked. My favorite room involved rain, and in that specific room, I so would have wished that this movie would not have been PG-13 and we would have gotten a nice close-up of something that happens in that room. But sadly, I was left a little bit unsatisfied when it comes to that, but it's just my personal preference. And again, this is a PG-13 movie, so I know they could not have shown it the way that I wanted it, but damn, I wish they could have. However, this movie was definitely not as strong as the first one, and I'm kind of worried on the direction that the franchise is going to go, because I don't know if they can really offer something extremely new in future installments. And you know, I love the idea of escape rooms combined with horror. I love when people are thrown in somewhere and they just have to survive, kill each other to survive, or go through traps. I absolutely love Cube. I love the first Saw movie. Like, I like the concept. But I just feel like with this second installment, I'm a little bit now scared for the future of the franchise. What I suspect is that they put so much effort into the rooms, into the challenges, into solving these puzzles, into all of that, that honestly, it does take a lot of work and it is hard, especially coming up with new cool things, you know, after already doing a movie. I feel like they just forgot the storytelling, the background of the characters, the heart of the characters. It just felt so cold. The script and the characters, it felt like they didn't have any heart, and that didn't really work for me, because I do like to have some characters that I can at least understand and care for, and I feel like it was not the case here. Like, I want to know their fears, I want to know where they're really coming from. Like, yes, of course you get like a tiny bit of information of these new players, but not enough. And I know in most slasher or this type of horror movies, you don't really need a background for every character, but I feel like in the first installment, I really got to know the characters to a point where I was caring for them, like I was rooting for them, and I didn't have the same feeling in the sequel. I felt like the puzzle rooms were cool, but the rest was predictable and frustrating, and I was frustrated in the cinema because I could see things coming, and some of the things were just so obvious. Like, I don't know if it's just me, but I just felt like this movie was a little bit frustrating in general. We basically had 6 characters telling you for the most part of the movie what they are seeing. Oh, I see this here, or I found this here, or I have seen this here, or I have this, and I was like, can we please stop? Can we please stop commenting on this and maybe just showing and maybe, you know, giving us another type of script or something else? I don't know. Like I said, I was really excited. I really wanted to enjoy this movie more than I did, but it kind of flopped for me. I feel like even though in the first movie we also have these kind of out of this world high-tech escape rooms, the way that the movie was paced the characters. Everything felt so more believable. It just felt more real. And the second movie was just, there was no way that I was believing this movie. At the end of the day, I ended up giving this movie a 2 out of 5 because I felt like they were trying so hard, especially towards the end with the twists and turns that they tried to give us. I just feel like they were really trying hard and they did not even match the level of the first movie. I gave the first escape room movie 3 out of 5. It also didn't like blow me away, but it was fun, it was believable, it was something that I really enjoyed, and I would rewatch the first one. In the second part, the storyline was too obvious, the challenges were predictable. I feel like it was really rushed as well. I feel like they were going through these challenges really rushing, and it didn't bring anything new to the table in general. We didn't really learn much about Minos Corporation that I was hoping to learn a little bit more of, and we were just presented with more questions and no answers, which of course will we get these answers in part 3, because I'm pretty sure that this is thought as at least as a trilogy, but I'm a little bit scared going into part 3. Alright you guys, I hope that you enjoyed this spoiler-free review of Escape Room Tournament of Champions. Let me know down below what you thought about the movie, about the characters, about the rooms, if you loved it more than the first one. Let's talk about it in the comments down below. Thanks so much for watching you guys. Please give the video a big thumbs up, and I hope to see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye!